Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Borzone. I'm an Ambassador Girl Scout from Troop 3040 in Nassau County. Today I'm going to be presenting my Gold Award project, which is called Supporting Our Important Resource, Honeybees. My Gold Award project began last May when I went on a trip to Canada with my family. Along the way we stopped at an apiary where they sold honey and other products that help bees in their daily lives. When we went inside we saw a huge beehive that was built into the wall and connected outside so bees could enter and exit the hive. After speaking with the beekeeper, I came to understand the difficulties that bees are facing today. I was so interested in learning more about honeybees that I decided to base my Gold Award project on saving the honeybees and teaching others about what I learned. Once I got back from my trip, I decided to contact a local beekeeper, Cliff Stroll, so I could learn more about honeybees, the problems they face, and how to help. He showed me how hives work, how he does inspections of the hives, and how he gathers honey, as well as what plants and resources are helpful for honeybees. Here you can see a picture of me getting suited up with a beekeeping veil and jacket. It has been a great experience working with Cliff, and I have learned so much. My goal for my Gold Award project is to educate people about bees and to create a program in order to promote their survival. There are many simple ways of supporting the bee population, some as easy as planting certain flowers in your backyard. A typical beehive consists of approximately 30,000 to 60,000 bees. There are 3 different types of honeybees that make up the colony: workers, queens, and drones. First we have the worker bees. These are female bees, and they are usually the bees that you would see flying around from flower to flower. There are about 40,000 worker bees in a normal hive. They do not lay fertile eggs or reproduce to make more bees. They live for about 15 to 38 days in the summer and 140 to 320 days in the winter. They are hatched from fertilized eggs, and they do the job that we usually associate with bees. They make honey. Next up is the queen bee. Queen bees are female bees, and they are the only egg producer. There is one queen bee in each hive, and their main job is to lay eggs. They mate with up to 10 or more different drones, which is another type of honeybee we are going to learn about. They use the drones to fertilize the eggs. They then lay about 1,000 eggs per day. Queen bees hatch from fertilized eggs, and they lay 200,000 eggs per year throughout their lifetime, which is 2 to 5 years. And finally, the last type of honeybee is the drone bee. Drone bees are male bees, and there are anywhere from several hundred to tens of thousands of them in each colony. Adult drone bees have no stinger, unlike the worker and queen bees that do sting. They hatch from unfertilized eggs, and their purpose is to mate with the queen bees. Honeybees are very important to our everyday lives. 1 out of 3 bites of our food in the U.S. is dependent on honeybees and other pollinators, like butterflies, bats, beetles, and birds. Honeybees are also the only insects that produce food for humans, which is honey, and in their lifetime, 1 honeybee produces about 5 drops of honey. Honeybees from the same hive visit about 225,000 flowers per day, and the nectar from about 2 million flowers is necessary to make 1 pound of honey. So it takes approximately 7 to 10 days to produce 1 pound of honey. Now the main problem with honeybees and why we have to save them is because their population is rapidly declining. From April 1st, 2019 to April 1st, 2020, nearly 40% of bee colonies were lost, and in the past 70 years, there has been approximately a 60% reduction in honeybee hives. So, here are some of the problems that the honeybees face that causes their populations to decline so quickly. First, there are pesticides and herbicides used on flowers and lawns that are harmful to bees. They can cause damage to the bees and make them sick, affect their navigating abilities to find flowers, and affect bee reproduction. Second, there is a lack of pollinator plants, which are the trees and flowers that bees use to collect pollen and nectar. Bees need pollinator plants because pollen is their main source of protein, and nectar is what the bees store to produce honey. The less pollinator plants, the less beehives there are, therefore less honey production. Third, pollution negatively affects the bee population, similarly to how pesticides and herbicides affect them. Air pollutants affect the scent molecules of plants and flowers that the bees need, affecting their navigation abilities since it is more difficult for the bees to locate the plants for pollination. These toxic chemicals also affect the health of bees and can make them sick. And finally, a more recent problem in the U.S., there are murder hornets that target the honeybees and other bee species, killing their populations and causing harm to bee species all around the world. Even though bees face many problems every day, There are a few things you can do to save them and to prevent these issues from continuing to harm the honeybee population. One way is to plant flowers, particularly pollinator plants. These plants are what honeybees use to gain energy to produce honey in the hives. Single flower tops are best for honeybees because they produce more nectar than other flowers. Planting at least 3 different types of flowers in your yard can help to make sure they blossom through every season. Some flowers that you may want to plant are listed on the right of this slide. Another way to help the bee population is to build a bee bath. You can do this by filling a shallow container with fresh water for the bees to drink and pebbles or twigs for them to stand on. Bee baths are a great and easy way to make sure bees are hydrated while pollinating throughout the day. You can also use products that are safe for bees and don't contain herbicides or pesticides. Even though these products can make your lawn look nice, they can cause damage to the bees and make them sick. You may also use these chemicals to get rid of dandelions, although these flowers are actually a very important energy source for bees because they are rich in fats. Another idea is to get involved in an Adopt a Hive program. Supporting local beekeepers allows them to continue to increase the bee population while also creating the honey that we all love. By supporting them and allowing them to build more hives, you are also increasing the bee population and assisting with a remedy for this global crisis. And finally, you can build a beehive yourself. Building or donating beehives to beekeepers allows their population to increase and produce more honey. By building a beehive, you are creating a place for these bees to live and allowing for more bees to grow, therefore increasing their population. You can also decorate the beehives with different colors or patterns, as this allows for the honeybees to recognize which hive is theirs. Now we are going to learn how to actually build a beehive. If you're following along and watching this video with your troop, this is a great activity to do together. The materials you will need are a hive cover, a bottom board, and beehive box sides. These materials were all donated by Bee Smart Designs. The first step for building your beehive is to glue the beehive box together. You're going to line up the sides of the wood together at the corners and make sure that the handles are facing outward. Use wood glue and place a little dot on each edge, then push or hammer the sides together. Make sure the sides are at 90-degree angles to each other. The second step is to hammer or screw the sides together. After gluing the sides and pushing them together, take a hammer or screwdriver and connect the pieces using the guide holes. Make sure that you do not push the nails or screws too far into the wood because the wood could crack. To create more beehive boxes to add on top, repeat steps 1 and 2. The third step is to build the bottom board. First, place the 2 adapters onto the security pins, as seen highlighted in orange, then place the 3 mouse guard/entrance reducer pieces into the guide holes, as highlighted in blue. The adapters are used for the beehive box to sit on, and the guard/entrance reducers limit the amount of bees entering or exiting the hive. The fourth step is to assemble the beehive boxes and the bottom board. Place the beehive boxes onto the bottom board along the adapters and behind the guard/entrance reducers, and then place more beehive boxes on top. If you build more beehive boxes, place them on top of each other. The fifth step is to build the hive cover. Turn the hive cover upside down and find the 4 screw dimples, then take the blushing and place it on top of the dimples. Screw them into place and then place the hive cover on top of the beehive boxes that you just placed on the bottom board. The screws should line up with the box so it fits nicely. You can also place a rock or brick on top of the hive cover to secure it in place. You have made a beehive. The last step you can do to build your beehive is to decorate it. You can also do this before you build it so you can use a flat surface to draw on, or at the end when it is completely built. One great thing about decorating hives is that since bees are attracted to colors and patterns, decorating the beehive could help them to locate their own hives. To decorate the beehives, you can use stickers, paint, gems, paper, and many other materials. After decorating them, make sure to use a top coat so you don't ruin your designs, and make sure all the materials you use to decorate are safe for the bees. Also make sure to only paint the outside of the beehive and stay away from the inside where the bees are. If you want to research about beekeeping on your own, I learned from the book, The Beekeeper's Handbook, as well as from the other resources below. Finally, I would like to thank you for watching this video. Make sure you fill out the survey linked below to see how much you learned about honeybees and how you can help. If you or your troop would like to get involved in building a hive as a personal or troop activity, email me at rachelborzone@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.